PINAY power, Filipino blew the judges away at the X Factor UK auditions. What she did will impress you. Filipino talent once again conquered the international stage as a female singer named as Ivy Grace Paredes blew away the judges of X Factor UK in her audition. She sang All the Man That I Need by Whitney Houston, where she shocked the judges of her incredible voice. The judges were all ears from the very first note up to the finish and broke into applause after. One of the judges, Nicole Scherziner, said, "You just sang our faces off." "Sensational, you're like a little diva," said Louis Walsh, while Sharon Osbourne said, "You did yourself proud." Simon Cowell, known for his high standards, was also impressed and said, "Oh my God! What just happened there? It's more than amazing. It was the second half of the song. You were like possessed by somebody. It was incredible, one of the best we've had." Paredes left the Philippines and her 2-year-old daughter under the care of her parents to join the said X Factor UK. "For me, I believe this is the biggest competition and I want to be a part of it. The X Factor UK can give me the stepping stones I need to do good in the future because this is all for my daughter," she said. Meanwhile, she is now qualified for the next round of the competition, getting 4 yeses from the judges. Invite you to watch the video. Police officers arrested a nurse and a barangay councillor for selling drugs. Must read. Philippine National Police, PNP, conducted an anti-drug operation last Saturday with 6 drug traffickers that includes a nurse and a councillor of a barangay. Kenneth Santillan, a nurse, allegedly sells party drugs to his clients at high-end bars Makati City and at Bonifacio Global City in Taguig City. Based on police reports, there were 5 party drug that was caught being sold by the nurse on a Saturday night at the corner lane and 32nd Street in BGC. Police also caught not just party drugs but also 12 Hello Kitty pills, 11 sachet of shabu, a shabu-laced water bottle and 10 tablets of Valium from the nurse. Barangay 43 Councillor Jordan Garland from Pasay City was captured around 7:45 p.m. in front of the Barangay Hall in Tramo Street, for he has been selling P5,000 roth of shabu. And they were also caught other illegal drugs. Amos Apostol, a 28-year-old, got arrested due to being caught selling party drugs at the Palace Pool Club at 9th Avenue, corner 36th Street, BGC, Taguig City. Inside Taguig City Jail, Jonalyn Rodrigo was suspected to be smuggling drugs inside and she was arrested in a different operation. In Paranaque City, SPD was able to arrest 2 drug suspects in Barangay Tambo. At a unit in St. Anthony Residences, a buy-bust operation was held for there were supposed selling of shabu. The 6 drug traffickers supported General De La Rosa's claim that they were not executed, they are only arrested. This is contrary to what human rights advocates are claiming. Invite you to watch the video. Duterte reveals the people who are trying to impeach him. Find out who they are. Monday, President Rodrigo Duterte said that he accused the Yellow Troops of trying to build a case that will be against him for the possibility of impeachment in relation to the extrajudicial killings due to his administration's drug war. Duterte mentioned that United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon and U.S. President Obama's current remarks might have been part of the game played against him, he said in a speech before the new government delegates. He also added that he is prepared to lose his honor, his life and his presidency in this quest if he'll be impeached. In the former administration of President Benigno Aquino III and the Liberal Party, the color that is superior to them is yellow. Earlier, the LP leader have already denied the accusation of the president. The successor of the Constitution, Vice President Leni Robredo, is a valiant LP. Duterte then mentioned that the previous administration did not include the drug trouble in the national budget of 2016 and the Duterte administration is using the same budget and working with it in the second half of this year. President Duterte said, "The budget that we are working on now is the budget that was prepared by the Aquino." He also added, "While naming Nakita do na danger about drugs because it wasn't, until I became president that the naked truth came out, that we are really a drug country." Since Duterte became president, he has received criticisms by advocates of human rights worldwide because of the killings due to illegal drug trafficking. However, The U.S. via the State Department said that the number of killings are growing, that it is a burden. UN special investigators also strikes Duterte in his administration. He allows extrajudicial killings. Invite you to watch the video. OFW mother seeks justice for her 5-year-old daughter raped by drug user father. Read here. A post by an OFW has been making rounds in the social media recently as she appealed for justice for her 5-year-old daughter who was raped by her own father. The OFW, named as Alama Alisada, shared how broken she was when she learned that the DSWD found her daughter last August 25, 2016 in the streets, feverish and hungry. She was beyond torn when the DSWD confirmed that the child has been raped several times. Alisada works at Singapore as a domestic helper and left her daughter in the care of her husband, Albert Salcedo David. She didn't have any idea that all her hard work in a foreign country would lead to this. She was permitted to go home in the Philippines for 7 days after she learned the incident. This is where her daughter detailed to her the violations done to her. According to Alisada, it was drugs that has compelled his husband to these kind of doings. But surprisingly, the police in their area refused to file a case against his husband and says that medical legal and the girl's testimony is not enough. Meanwhile, Alisada is in hope that her message will get to President Duterte and help her get justice for her beloved daughter. Invite you to watch the video. National Book Foundation's Lisa Lucas. Get to know the other NBA. The publishing world had a lot to be excited about when it was announced that Guernica's Lisa Lucas would be the National Book Foundation's new executive director. If there is one thing clear to anyone speaking to Lucas, it is her passion and enthusiasm for books and reading. And it's infectious. With Lucas at the forefront of the National Book Foundation and awards, the future of publishing looks very bright. On Monday, the National Book Foundation announced their long list for young people's literature for the 2016 National Book Awards. Poetry, fiction, and non-fiction honorees will be announced this week. NBC BLK had a chance to connect with Lucas both before and after she took on her new role at the National Book Foundation. Here's what Lucas had to say about diversity, eclectic career paths, the other NBA and of course, the world of publishing and her new role in it. The last time we spoke, you hadn't started in your position as executive director yet. How's it going? It's going great. I feel very much like I work here. I can't imagine anything that I'd rather be doing. The first few months you spend a lot of time figuring out how to do your job. And figuring out whom you work with and what's working and what maybe isn't working and what can be improved. It's been a lot of work. It's been really satisfying work just keeping the ship steady and thinking about where we can go. I think the most exciting thing has been how excited everyone is about the possibilities and where we can go. We are a little non-profit organization that has a big outside voice. So growing will be based on partnership, and so that enthusiasm, that excitement means great things for us because there are a lot of people who we can work with in ways we can amplify the work that we are doing now. You mentioned that one of your goals is to attract more readers in your new role as executive director of the National Book Foundation. How do you intend to do this? I keep getting asked that question and I keep not answering it, but it really is because I think the answer is taking a step back now that I'm in place, knowing what I believe in, knowing what the staff and the board believe in, and trying to harness all that energy into something that can be more accessible. I'd like more people to engage with the awards, as that's the biggest program. All year long you read books, you think about books, you celebrate books, and then there is a night, the National Book Awards. There are so many people, and it's not just about celebrating the winners, it's about celebrating the National Book Awards happening. And how do you make that magic feel exciting to someone who lives in Tennessee, someone who lives in California, or someone who lives in Arizona, if they love books? We need to make it the literary version of the Tonys and the Oscars. The second task are our programs, which are designed to engage readers more broadly. Book Up, which is a program for young people that helps encourage lifelong reading. There's NBA on Campus and Innovations in Reading. They are all different programs, and figuring out how you further cultivate those sorts of audience development programs, which is in essence what it is. We are a reading organization, not a writing organization, although we do celebrate great writing. On June 15 the other NBA happened, which the Observer's Dana Skarts wrote in an article subtitled "Nerds Should Be the Only Ones Allowed to Play Sports," I would definitely become a basketball fan if every single game were played by literary professionals. Can you tell us a little bit more about this program, which included Ta-Nehisi Coates editor, Chris Jackson? During the National Book Awards, sometimes people get confused with our hashtag, which isn't awards. People are like, wait, the NBA? The NBA is having an award? We started a basketball fundraiser called The Other NBA, and that's a game where writers and editors play against each other in a basketball game to raise money for Book Up, which is our educational program to encourage readership and to develop home libraries in middle school students. We work in Detroit, Texas, and here in New York. We brought all these people together and we played basketball at St. Francis College. We had cheerleaders, we had a halftime game, we had jerseys. Our sponsors were Out of Print and Litzy. They're the ones who make the Moby Dick and Invisible Man t-shirts and the cool mugs, and so they made us t-shirts and jerseys. It was really nice to see people coming out. It was very literary. There were lots of writers, editors, poets, publishers, and booksellers, people who work for Publishers Weekly, librarians playing basketball. It was the publishers, I was the coach, versus the writers. Dan Sheehan, who works for LitHub in Guernica, was the coach there. My team lost for the second year in a row. But next year we're going to win. It was so much fun. What does inclusivity in publishing mean to you? A lot of people think about publishing as very New York City based, elite, very Ivy League, that it's a bunch of people from up on top deciding what people down below should read. When I take a look at publishing and I take a look at where I came from within publishing over the past few years, Lucas is the former publisher of Guernica, it feels really important to recognize the power of the major publishers and the work they do, but also to think about all the small presses around the U.S., not just in New York, Coffee House Press in Minneapolis, to think about California, to think about Texas, to think about Florida, and to think about the fact that if these things are springing up all over the country, it means that there is an audience there, there's a reader there who wants to feel a part of publishing. I was lucky. I grew up in a household of readers. I grew up in New Jersey, just outside of New York. Everything was in my favor, but I also come from a community that is marginalized. So I understand that marginalization in other folks, and that's important to me. Whether it is somebody who is living in Appalachia and is really interested in reading, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like, it just matters that you are considered a party to this. That's where I come from, thinking about inclusivity. Don't leave people out, because when you've been left out you understand how lame that can be. You've had an impressively diverse and original career path, from fundraising at Sundance to publisher at Guernica. What advice do you have for others who are attempting to create their own professional path? A lot of people say that they wish they could do something. Show up. Be a part. I find that within the cultural community, it truly is a community. And being a part of that community opens up many doors. And I think sometimes people isolate themselves and send out resumes, or they have to set up informational interviews and think that's the only way to get a job. Related, Deneen Milner makes her imprint on books for Black children. Part of it is about being in the world, doing the actual work every day and learning about it. I've always been culturally obsessive. I always have been. I decided that I like comic books, and I'm going to be at the comic book shop once, twice, 3 times a week asking every book clerk, what comes before this? What comes before that? What should I read? Tweeting about it all day long. And then you become informed. The world of publishing is regularly criticized for its lack of diversity. What are your thoughts on this? I remember Isaac Fitzgerald came out of the gate at Buzz Books and said, "I'm not writing negative. I don't want to do that." And I remember thinking, what? That's ridiculous. But you know what? It's not ridiculous. I have to be positive. I have to believe in publishing and in their goodwill. They need to be encouraged and supported for every step forward. I think that sometimes publishing doesn't know what it's doing. It's a bunch of nerds who believe in books. We have to think equitably. We have to think inclusively about how to find those readers, how to court them and serving them with excellent literature. I'm a resource and everyone I know is a resource. There's stuff happening. When I see Chris Jackson National Book Award Ta-Nehisi Coates editor empowered at Spiegel and Grau, when I see Beacon bringing on senior editors of color, when I see me appointed to this job by people at huge publishing houses. You look at who our board is and they hired me for one of their favorite projects. I think sometimes, not that I would counsel patience for any marginalized community, but I do think we would like things to be done now. Because it's been a very long time. But the reality is, no matter how much we want it done, it's going to take some time for things to truly shift. Some of it is generational. Some of it is just that people are in jobs that they stay in for 10 to 15 years, and so it's just going to take some time before the cycle changes. I am optimistic and I think it's on everybody's mind. Nobody is fighting against it. There is just a lack of understanding on how to change it, and I think that information is coming fast and furiously. I think it is going to be better. I just feel positive, supportive. I feel good. Thank you for watching videos like you. Remember, the channel, register and comment below. Thank you.